Hello and welcome to the final video for our course. And everything that you've learned so far is really, the goal is so that you can utilize all those skills, all those tools added to your tool belt now. You can pull them out now for your final projects. And I'm going to be showing you some examples from student work. The ePortfolio you need to include, and I'm just going to show you an example of one that I've got up here. A title, so it could be a simple title such as K. Bishop Design Portfolio. Then I've got a subtitle there and a logo. And then you want a navigation. It doesn't have to be a nav bar, but you can have a traditional nav bar on the top and in that sort of format. Here I've kind of created mine as hotspots, and I have 6 navigation elements that take you to another page on my site. And on each of these pages you can go back to the home page. So you need to have that back to link on all of the pages in your site. You are required to include a resume. Now that may be as part of your web page. You can have an entire web page that is linked to your resume, or I have on this one, it's linked to a Google Doc with my resume linked there, or you could have it published in Adobe as an Adobe Doc. So there are different ways you can handle that. And then you're also required to have a gallery. Now the gallery needs to include at least 10 pieces of your work, and they don't all have to be from this class. They can be from other classes or from personal work. And it doesn't all have to be on one page. So the gallery does not necessarily need to be all 10 on one page. For example, I have a graphic design page with some links to other samples, but then I also have about 8 samples in this gallery on this page here. And if I go back to my home page, I might click on photography and see some photography samples. I've got links to other web pages, but then I also have, and the gallery could be a scrolling kind of gallery. I've got 3 photos there and then 3 black and white ones, or 3 additional photos. Sorry, they're not all black and white, and then a couple more images below. So the gallery can be formatted in different ways. And then you could also have them all on one page if you like to, if you want to do it in a grid. You also need to include a form. So I'm jumping over now from the ePortfolio over to a professional site. So this is my professional site for Nomad Cookie Co. And if I click on Contact Us, you can see there's a contact form. So that can look different, or depending on how you want to format it. And then you need to include that on your ePortfolio also, have a page with a contact form on it. So if someone wants to contact you, they can fill out their name and provide an email and so forth. So here's my page of graphics. These are graphics I created for the professional site. I've got some buttons, I've got the logo. You may have a more complicated logo that you want to simplify for the responsive site and change to a 1 color. And then you can see how it changed to my responsive site. So let me go back to the Nomad Cookie Co. original site, and then you can see in the responsive site I took away the banner. The title is formatted differently, and it's responsive so that if I squish it down to the mobile size, it will work better responsively than the original site. So you need to do some redesign, and that doesn't have to be for the professional site. It could be for your ePortfolio. You'll have the same content and images, but it'll be reformatted and redesigned responsively, and you may make some subtle changes with the text formatting and the logo and possibly the images too. Okay, so what are some other ways, some other tools that you can use for those final sites? And I want to point to some of the tools we learned early on, going back to the animated GIF. How could you use an animated GIF on your final sites? There's lots of different ways you could use that. And just want to show you, for example, Maddie had an animated GIF of some images on campus. And maybe she wants to create an About Me page on her ePortfolio just talking about being a student at App State. And she may include an animated GIF of the campus on that page. Another way you might want to use that is, let's say Emma has an About Me page and she wants to use this girl with the headphone animated GIF on her About Me page instead of a photo of herself. Another tool that we have used is the image map. That would be a very useful tool to use on any of your final sites. And for the image map, I want to show you some student samples. Here is one. I believe this is Amanda's, and you can see that hers is labeled, titled here called image map, so it's very easy to find. And she may want to use something like this on her ePortfolio, where you can click on samples of digital imaging or some other artwork that she's got. And so this could also be used for a gallery, using hotspots for a gallery. Fritz has an image map on his index page where you can click on a personal portfolio with samples of his photography. So this takes you to another site. Or you can click on class portfolio to go to his kind of index for this class. This one is Dylan's, and let's say he's designing a professional site for a travel agency, and so you might want to do some more layout and design here, but you could click on the bridge to find out about tours to the Brooklyn Bridge, and so forth, with directions here on how to navigate the hotspots. Here is Emma's jQuery page, and this would be really useful, say if she were designing a professional site for a pet store and she's got some information on goldfish that you can click on each tab to find out the answer to these questions. And you could also use it for some other kind of company with a question and answer format. And then last of all, as we go into our final projects, I want to take a look at Zach's portfolio that's coming along here. And what he has done is he's basically redesigned and reformatted his index page for the class to be his ePortfolio. And that is fine if you want to do that. You can create a navigation using links. He's still working on this, but maybe this is an introduction page, then his resume page. He's got a contact page that will have a form on it, and then a jQuery with appropriate jQuery. Maybe it'll be a gallery of his work, and then any other links. So keep in mind that on your ePortfolio, you need to have at least 4 navigation links, so 4 additional pages plus your home page, and all those additional pages need to link back to your home page or your index page. You want to also include a footer. That's one of the requirements. Go back to my portfolio page and you can see what I'm talking about here with the footer of copyright, maybe with your name, an email, or a link to App State. And I'm going to jump into Dreamweaver so you can see how to create that copyright symbol in Dreamweaver. Here's the code. You just need the ampersand, copy, and the semicolon, followed by the text that's going to follow that copyright. So if you want to include that in the footer, that's how you can do that. And then for your professional site, you also need to include the home page with the title and logo, and 4 additional pages that link back to the home page. and a form and the appropriate graphics on the professional site. And don't forget your ePortfolio, you need to include an animated GIF. That is a requirement, a form, a gallery, and a resume. For the responsive redesign, you can either redesign your ePortfolio or the professional site, and that also needs to include the home page with title and logo, 4 additional pages that link back to the home page, and that will be it. And then you will be done with those 3 sites. Your professional site will be with your partner or partners. Make sure that when you submit that each person in your group submits the entire site. So you want to include that link onto your index or home page so that everything is linked for me to easily access on your index page. I'm sure you still have some questions as you get going on these projects, so feel free to touch base with me and get in contact with me as you go along, and I look forward to seeing the progress and then your final sites in Module 9.